real recently, actually, I played something called Potion Craft.
Yes, I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. What I talked about before, I think, was Potionomics.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong potion
there's,
game.
There's a lot of... there's also a Potion Permit that came out, like, the same year. There's a lot of potion things. We have been visited by the ghost of gaming presence.
Ghost of Tsushima?
Which is a present game. I'm going to consider that a present game. I have not played it, so I can't really discuss it. For the interest of framework, I would say that your gaming present as it is the last just couple years.
Okay.
So, nothing too far in the past, but I wanted to just kind of talk about games from the last just couple years, even this year, that just kind of made you happy. That you remember fondly, that reinvigorated your interest in gaming.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, maybe there haven't been nearly as many of those, unfortunately, but the ones that made you happy to play.
I would start off with 5th edition D&D.
Yes.
Because I did a game with David for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a game with you and Ray and my son. And generally speaking, the games that I've had of that over the last couple of years have been pretty good, and those have been enjoyable. I know there are other systems that are lighter or heavier or better for different things, but I enjoy the stories and being able to play that game, and in general being able to play games. So for tabletop, definitely that one. 100%. And then Drinking Quest, since I've got this Chuglock shirt on.
You got the Chuglock shirt on, yeah.
I remember playing that with some friends. Cards Against Humanity as well. Been a few years since I played either of those.
Yeah.
Probably because I work overnights and nobody wants to do anything when I'm awake now.
I liked playing D&D. I had the game with Dom, that was great. And we had the game where I got to play Bard. That was fun. That was super fun. And I've had the live stream games that I've gotten to play, mostly with DC. And those are always great, and they're a lot of fun. It's interesting because when we started this project back originally when it was Delve, before we even did TPK, I was very unfamiliar with games altogether. And now have gone to actually actively playing it on forums where people see me play it, which is
right.
Weird.
It's crazy, and I haven't done that. I haven't played on anything where someone has seen me play it.
Yeah, that's a future thing.
Oh, that's great!
I'm sure you're thrilled about that.
If I'm a player, maybe not as a
not running the thing. Yeah, no. I don't think you want to do that. There haven't been a lot of systems beyond that I've tried, except for 1879, and obviously when I did Rift Hunters, we were doing Open Legend and stuff like that. But mostly what I've ended up playing is 5e. And for all of the people that will critique it, I must say that as far as the 800-pound gorilla of tabletop goes, 5e D&D isn't a bad one. It's you can make your criticisms, and there's plenty to be made about the framework or what you're looking for in an RPG, but 5e is not a bad game by any measure. And I think that in terms of understanding any kind of genre, it's really helpful to know what the biggest player inside of it is, and it's kind of hard to deny that Dungeons & Dragons is the largest tabletop entity that there is in the system. It's been fun looking at some of the stuff that they want to do for 1D&D, but I don't know if people are going to adapt to it directly, just because 5e's become so ingrained over the last 8 years or so that it's been like the system. Yeah, no, tabletop games, I do enjoy those. I've found myself liking a lot of board games. The only problem is that I never have anyone to play with. So I have to find ones that usually like my parents or friends that I have around here, which are very minimal, are going to be able to do. I can't really do a lot of like really complex games that have a lot of moving parts.
No Scythe or Gloomhaven, huh?
I'm hoping that this year, because I did buy it like last year and it's still sealed in the box, is Catan.
There you go.
Because I played the dice version of Catan, but I haven't played the actual board game of Catan.
Okay.
But the one that I always really liked, good recommendation, is Carcassonne, if you've never played Carcassonne. Great game, real easy for people to get into, simple to pick up, addictive once you actually start, where you get to lay down the tiles and stuff. I also liked that we got to play Suro when I was over there the one time.
Yes.
Move your dragons across the board and bonk each other in the head. That's always fun. Video games, though, that's, I'm not gonna lie, I've been looking over my 2022 games list that I usually do, my best to worst list for the year, and this year's been kind of light in terms of, games that were standouts. Cyberpunk was actually one of the surprisingly good ones that I ended up playing this year.
Yeah. Did you play No Man's Sky at all?
I did play a lot of No Man's Sky. I did. So I got to play that. Actually, No Man's Sky is one that I came back to after having originally played it in 2016.
Right, when it was bad.
When it was bad. Yeah, well, I played it right after Next came out, so there was at least a little bit more on the bones, so in 2017-18. But I picked back up where I was at, and got to see all of the new stuff that they put into it. And so that held my attention a lot longer than the first time. But, yeah, no, I'd say Cyberpunk was probably one of my happiest surprises for the year.
Yeah.
Because when it first came out, it was a mess. It was a mess. But having gotten to play it now, and I'm so happy that I didn't play it earlier, playing it now really reminded me what you can do with an epic RPG, because they have been sorely lacking in the last few years. We haven't really gotten... but, I mean, you played it, I played it. I liked the world building. I liked the scope, the general scope that they were trying to go for, and the ambition of the project. I just wish that it hadn't come out before they had done more actual work to it to make sure that it was indeed polished. But yeah, Cyberpunk was a big enjoyment for me. I would say that Psychonauts 2, out of the last few years, is one of the ones that I'd put up there in my favorite games. There's very few.
Yeah, a lot of the games I've played a bunch of are a little bit older.
Yes.
I mean, the last year or two has been No Man's Sky. Did a fair amount of Cyberpunk, Farming Simulator 2022. We played that for a bit, and then you tried it with us as well.
We just broke the physics of the game.
Yeah, we just made horses fly.
Yes.
Let's see. The Hunter Call the Wild, one of the strange hits for me. I haven't played in a while, but
oh yeah,
hundreds of hours of hunting, and it's what?
Yeah. There was some surprise, Vampire Survivors. I didn't think I was gonna play for any length of time.
I won't play it because I don't want to have to tell people they're right.
You don't want to get sucked into that. No, trust me. It's devastatingly simple, and then before you know it, you've wasted most of your life. So
yeah. Here's a good one that Ray got me early for my birthday, and we've been playing a bit of. Actually, is Pokemon Scarlet. Since the new gen Pokemon games came out. And surprisingly, aside from some performance issues on the Switch's half, because it's not the best system, it's not that powerful, surprisingly really good. It feels, I don't know if you played Arceus.
No, I don't have a Switch, so...
Oh, fair enough. So it takes the Breath of the Wild type formula of open world exploration.
Yeah.
Which Arceus did as well. Except this time it's actually more like a mainline Pokemon game. So there are Pokemon battles and trainers, and you can change their movesets and breeding is back, and all the stuff that I was hoping would be in Arceus that they took out because it was a lot lighter exploration focused game, and they put it back in to this, and it feels like a real Pokemon game now. Like Arceus was fine. I liked what they did.
Yeah.
But this one is just it's good. It's solid. There's gyms, there's a Pokemon level story.
Yeah.
Which is to say it's not the greatest story, but it can be. It's in line with Pokemon games.
Are you trying to be the very best like no one ever was?
Well, this one gives you more options. It's here's 3 different like main storylines that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
And one is your like the Team Rocket equivalent gang or whatever that you have to stop. One is the gyms, and the other is there are these Titan Pokemon and these mystery herbs that you have to do. And then at the end later on, there's this big area that you can't get to right now.
Okay.
Or I can't get to right now. I assume after you beat the Elite Four and whatnot, you can go to this Area 0, I think it's called, or Area 1.
Sure.
And I think that's like in-game content where there's probably a lot more powerful Pokemon and a lot more challenges, so...
Sure. Real recently, actually, I played something called Potion Craft.
Yes, I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. Well, what I talked about before, I think, was Potionomics.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong potion.
There's a lot of... there's also a potion permit that came out, like, the same year. There's a lot of potion things. People want to make potions, man. It reminds me of the Atelier series. That was always about, like, making stuff, too. But,
I think I tried one of those.
Did you try an Atelier?
Recently.
Yeah.
It was, like...
I think
terrible.
I think Mariru was one of my favorites, or Rorona. I've played several of the Atelier games, and I think that the one thing that I was not happy about is that they have essentially a time frame on them, which basically means that, like, after 2 years in-game, and, like, they track your time as you're doing stuff, after 2 years, the game kind of goes, okay, the story's over now, and the game just kind of ends wherever you got to, and they say, how well did you do? I know, and it was really annoying because when I was playing like Mariru or something, I was like, oh, I'm starting to finally outfit all of my characters, there's new areas to go, and then you hit that time, and they're kind of like going, wow, you've had some pretty great adventures here in this town, and I guess it's time to pack it on in, and then the game ends. Potion Craft doesn't do that, luckily. Potion Craft, you can just play for as many days as you want. The actual ingredients don't have properties to them, but they basically create pathways on this grid. Like, you can almost think of it like a map of the sea, but it's trying to get you to different potions that you can unlock. And so each one of the flowers or geodes or mushrooms or whatever has a certain kind of like pathway that it follows to get you through there. And so the idea is to avoid all of like the hazards and utilize the different elements that you have to try and get to the best possible version of a potion, maybe create multiple elements on them by utilizing the different things that you get. And of course, none of them are straight lines. They always have to be weird ways to get around the map. And then you sell those potions and haggle with the people that are coming along. And some of them want to use it to break into people's houses, and you can decide if you want to sell to them.
Yes, 100%. That's best customers.
That does change your reputation, though. If you sell to people that are doing bad things, it lowers your reputation. And if you sell to people that are doing good things, it goes up.
See, you can't do that. You just need to have like an infamy and then a reputation thing. Because then if you keep selling to those bad people, obviously it's risky, but then more bad people will come to you.
Yeah, I noticed that, which is why I like said, okay, I'm going to stop trying to sell to all of these people as much and see if I can get into the positive. And then I realized, more people who have positive things come to me. But then if I can't give them the potion that they need, and they walk away, I get negative points. Because obviously I didn't help the
You just go down the negative road.
Yeah, I could do either of them. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, no, there's some neat stuff. You can even like determine, like, when you get a potion that you like, you can save it to a book and you buy extra pages to make sure that you save those recipes to a book.
I have an idea for a game now from this. We need a game where you build a speakeasy.
Yes.
During Prohibition.
Mm.
Or something similar to that. Have a side business on the back that is fencing or whatever. Kind of like Moonlighter or any of this. But it's like, all right, here's the deal. This is like illegal.
Yes.
You have to make it a good business and also provide like an actual business on the other side of this. Like maybe you've got a laundromat and you're laundering money behind you, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to do both the actual business and run it, you know, so it looks legitimate. And then you have to have your side business that actually makes you money.
Right.
I think this needs to be a thing.
Yeah. However, let's see, in recent years, I would say that specific genres ended up making me happier. Like we talked a little bit about some of the Souls-ish games, and I just got another one that I'll talk about once I play it called Hellpoint, which just to kind of give you the elevator pitch, imagine if you're on a space station and these Cthulhu-like cosmic horror monsters came down onto it. There's that.
I think we talked about that with the Slender Clown.
A little bit like Slender Clown, but they like made a game out of Slender Clown. Think about that for a second.
They should pay us for it.
Yeah, they really should. It came out a couple years ago. I think that we can't really prove intellectual property. Sorry.
We can date that back a bit.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to redate that. Anyway, yeah, a lot of those that I've been enjoying, and then also the cozy games, because I really do have a problem when it comes to cozy games. Things like Coral Island, or Dreamlight Valley, or Bear and Breakfast.
Yeah, I tried Dreamlight Valley, which was fun-ish, but I don't know, cozy games don't really do it so much for me. Like, they're fun in the short term, I can't play them long term.
Yeah, I understand. Is it that they're just, there's not enough meat on the bones for you?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because I know recently you played Satisfactory with us.
Right.
And that's not a cozy game, but like I really enjoy it. There's the exploration, a bit of combat, there's all the building stuff and whatnot. And that to me is fun and can be exciting, and I can do a lot of stuff. But then you get, you know, games where it's just you're growing, you're farming, or getting food and going through like a slice of life type games.
Yes, the slice of life type games.
I don't know. Like The Sims is one thing.
Yeah.
Because that's just hilarious most of the time.
Right.
I don't know. It's the cozy games don't really do it the same way for me. I don't really know what it is. I feel like maybe it's too mundane.
There was one that I did play that I probably had higher interest in, though, than a lot of them, which was like Slime Rancher 2, which actually kind of falls into that same category. But I really like those games. There's something oddly satisfying about saying, "Hey, here's your farm. Here, and you have a farm now."
Sure.
And just
I've played many hours of Farming Sim.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I wish with that is that, you know, farming is fine, but I wish there was actually like again, this is an issue I was talking about you with Timberborn, is that I wish there was some sort of like story campaign type deal.
A goal.
A goal, yes. I like games that have some kind of goal.
Yeah. I understand that.
Either I can set them myself, and we talked about this before with, I think, Franchise Mode and Planet Zoo.
Yes.
Which isn't so much there's a set goal, but it's not sandbox. Here is, you have actual money you need to worry about, and you have to do all this stuff, and actually, you know, you've got the goals of running a zoo looming over your head, so taking care of your animals, making sure your guests are happy, and making money. It's not just unlimited for your own sandbox. So even though it's not here's your goal right here, like this is the goal you want to reach, it is a goal of have a successful zoo doing what you want to do.
I did find, however, that since I did get my Series X, I wanted to go and play, because I'm a glutton for it, is to go back to play some of the Borderlands games to see what they look like in 4K.
Oh.
With
about the same.
They look about the
Because
same.
of cell shading.
Yeah, because it's cell shading. They have the 4K upgrades, so there's that.
Oh boy.
And the detail is very impressive, very crisp lines. But yeah, they look pretty much like I saw them on the previous version that I had in 1080. But then of course I have to try all of them and play different classes. And it gave me mostly an opportunity to play some of the sirens because I never did that originally.
Okay.
Lilith and Maya and those, and see how those play. Amara, when I tried Borderlands 3 again, it's like, oh, okay, I'll see how the sirens play, and overall, sirens are powerful.
Yeah,
very powerful. And it also reminded me that Borderlands 1 is rough.
Bad. Yeah, that's the reason I didn't play it.
Right. Just in terms of the way that they tell you data for like the guns, it's very limited compared to like what happened in Borderlands 2. You actually gave me more numbers that I can actually utilize, or like the different skill trees got way fleshed out by the time Borderlands 2 came out. The first one, not so much. Very rough. So yeah, I got my nostalgia trip on from that.
There you go.
But now I'm realizing every time I try to boot those up, I fall asleep. So I think I'm gonna have to try playing something different. Enough trying to get loot explosions. I need to do something different. So there's that. But overall, were you impressed with anything that you played this last year?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, maybe, when it was finally fixed.
Same. No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky was pretty fun. That's in the last year or two.
Yeah, I mean, they made a lot of improvements to those games. It's good. Games that came out specifically this year, it's minimal.
I don't know what came out this year, so
exactly.
No idea.
Fair enough. Well, that's okay, because now we're going to be able to transport ourselves into the future. And look forward into a crystal ball. There's going to be a guy with a scythe, and he's going to show us our imminent demise. That's
perfect. I hope it's tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. The true spirit of the holidays. Thinking about death.